Today, we are going to go over a major mistake that people make with their diets. This is a strategic mistake, and I want to chat with you on ways that you can take advantage of this to set yourself up for success. All right, the major mistake, I'm going to cut right to it, is people go too fast. Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit. I'm Coach Mark. I with Journeyman Fitness, I help people lose weight without cutting out the awesome foods in their life. And for many people who are trying to do this on their own, who don't have a coach who is kind of giving them, hey, listen, I've made this mistake before. Typically, what they have is this, first off, a goal in mind. They decide that I want to lose X amount of pounds in so many weeks. Now, typically, what we see is that 20 pounds is 15 to 20 pounds is like the big benchmark for most people who are getting started on this. And then they want to lose the weight in a month or 6 weeks or something like that, which is still, it's really good, but I want to get into this. And trust me, I've helped people lose 25 pounds in 6 weeks. I've helped people lose 30 pounds in 6 weeks. I've helped people lose 5 pounds in 6 weeks. Really, it kind of all depends on what is comfortable for you. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about kind of why this is a big mistake. So imagine if by the end of the day you wanted to run a mile, right? You're like, I want to work out, I want to run a mile. That's going to be my workout for today, and I'm good to go. Okay. Now, I'm not quite sure where you're at in terms of running a mile, but kind of stay with me on this metaphor. You have a lot of options. Okay. For most people, when they think 1 mile, this is kind of the benchmark distance where everybody kind of gauges. There's a lot of pressure to go fast on a mile. So you're like, all right, well, and this is kind of like starting an extreme diet. Well, I'm at the beginning, I'm going to go fast. In the middle, I'm going to go fast. And then right at the end, I'm going to go really fast. I'm basically just going to go as fast as possible. And if you've ever run a mile like that and you've misjudged the speed at which you're supposed to go, about halfway in, you're like, oh no, I have made a terrible mistake. Counter that with what happens if normally you would run a mile in 8 minutes, and you're like, you know what, I need to run a mile today. That's going to be my workout. I'm going to run it in 10. In the grand scheme of things, that 2 minute difference is nothing. First off, you're not racing anybody. This is just for you. But that 2 extra minutes in the 1 mile is a world of difference in terms of the ease at which you can do this, your pacing, and more importantly, how you feel at the end of the run. Okay. So think about that. Where does the stress come from? It's kind of it's at the edges. Okay. And what are you getting out of that little extra bit, that 5%, that 10% of speed or effort that you're putting in? Unless you are trying to compete, make it onto a team, hit a personal best, whatever it is, that little bit of extra, that absolute increase in performance or speed or whatever, what have you, it's not worth it when it comes to something like weight loss where you're not comparing yourself to anybody. Why try to get that absolute return? Okay. I mean, really, who is going to fault you if you lost 10 pounds in 6 weeks versus 10 pounds in 5 weeks? No one. Absolutely no one. Think about those 15 to 20 pounds. If you said, all right, I want to achieve this in 6 weeks, but instead you're like, you know what? I want to make it a little bit easier on myself and I'm going to delay it till 12 weeks. The only thing that is really happening for most people is they're kind of setting themselves up for kind of like, oh, I'm not better than anybody else at losing weight. And what is that worth? Nothing, right? Losing weight is 100% for you. It can affect other people in a very positive way. But if you crash and burn like all the other times you've tried a diet or tried, extreme diets, you know what I'm saying? Then you're right back to where you started. You've made zero progress. In fact, you've wasted time. And not only that, you've reinforced the the feeling and the thought process of I'm a failure at diets. So here's the mistake: your speed at which you diet. Give it more time. Think about, if I need to achieve this goal, what is actually the slowest amount that I can go, still feel like I'm making progress, but obviously at the finish of whatever I'm getting, it's like I've kind of eased into the finish line. So if you're a little unsure of, kind of what does that look like? Hey, listen, I need to lose 20 pounds. What does that look like for me? I'm starting in a different place than this person, blah, blah, blah. Send me a message. Obviously, you can join my free group. We have conversations about this all the time. I'll send you a link. And then you can also start my free 5-day quick start guide, which outlines exactly how you can set your goals, calculate out your food, figure out how cookies and cake and beer and all that stuff can fit into the plan, and you can get started. Hopefully this has been a good chat. This is Coach Mark, and I wish you the best day ever.